Hello there. I know there's been a while since I made the last video, and well, believe me, I didn't forget about the YouTube channel and about this Soviet school of chess I have started. I plan to finish all this, but you know, life happens, and I have a really busy schedule with my day job, with my family obligations. I started to do more coaching in the recent time, and I really enjoy it, and I learn from it as well as I teach. So my YouTube presence wasn't what it used to be, but nevertheless, here I am. And just today, I have played the over-the-board game in the Croatian National League. So this is the round 1. The league started again, and I was playing in the board number 5. And this was a very important game for me because if you have followed my channel, I had a really bad tournament earlier this year. It was this Rabat's Open in which my rating dropped below 1500, which honestly I thought it would never happen, but I just you know, I was unlucky enough to face those underrated kids who just destroyed my whole over the board rating. But okay, rating aside, the point is that my confidence was very low, and when I came to the board this morning, I was very afraid. I was unconfident. I was sure that I would make some kind of blunder. And if you remember my analysis, almost all the game I lost in the previous tournament, I was better. I was better like +3, +6, even +28 in one game, and I managed to lose all these games. So I was very afraid that this would happen to me again. And this is why you will see that this game is more of the psychological battle with myself than a chess battle with my opponent. You will see some moments in which I almost hallucinated, and well, let's get to the game. I don't want to waste any more of the introduction time. So I opened the game with e4. My opponent played c5. So he went into Sicilian. And again, if you have been following my channel, you know I was playing Alapin here, c3. This was my usual response. And I also said that I want to play open Sicilian because I believe that one should be playing open Sicilian in order to expose oneself to many different chess positions and many different tactical patterns, and in the long term this should contribute to one's improvement. So even before the game I had decided to play open Sicilian, so I played knight to f3, he played knight to c6, and now this was the first psychological moment in which my fear and the lack of confidence struck, and I was thinking, okay, should I really play the open Sicilian? So the d4 should be a move. And I wanted to play d4. When I sat at the board, I said to myself, I will play open Sicilian if he plays c5. And now suddenly I was afraid. Oh, am I prepared enough? What if he knows more theory than I do? I mean, all these are nonsense. But I was just afraid. After all this negative experience in Rabat, I was afraid to do anything on the board. So I said to myself, okay, let's not play open Sicilian. So it was at this moment in which I decided, okay, I will not play what I was thinking the whole night before that I will play, but I will play, you know, something I'm more comfortable with, although I don't like the position switch comes from that. And this is this delayed Alapin, so I played the c3 here. Okay, I played this opening many times, and I know how to handle this, but this was not what I was intending to play the night before. So he played e5 here, which is a strange move, and not the best move in my opinion. The only drawback is that sometimes white is tempted to play d4, and then if he plays d4, the position is not so good for white. Black has some counterplay, he can activate his pieces more easily, and so on. So I remember this, and here I decided to go completely out of the book, at least out of my book. So in my book, here I am supposed to play bishop to e2 or even bishop to c4. But I was thinking, okay, I don't want to, I don't know this theory so good, so let me just play the most aggressive move. So I played bishop to b5, hitting the knight, and now threatening to win the pawn. So I'm just, now I'm playing completely out of the book, I'm just playing chess, I want to castle quickly, I want to develop my pieces, and so on. So he played a knight to e7, now he's covering the knight, so if I take, he can take with the knight and still be guarding the pawn. So I castled here, he played a6, kicking away my bishop. I was prepared for this, so I just retreated the bishop, he extended more with b5, and now my bishop found a nice home c2, which is very nice because this pawn was unprotected. And it's nice to have the protection this pawn with this bishop. It does look a little bit locked up, but you know, I have a pawn break on f4 here, and I have the pawn break on d4 here, so I don't expect this this pawn will be here forever. So I think this is a good place for a bishop. He played knight to g6 because if you notice, this knight is not in the good place. It's blocking all of his pieces, so he has to move it. So he did play a knight to g6, and now I was thinking a lot what to do. I know some move which usually is played here is d3, and I had a similar position in the round 2 in Rabbits, and I don't like these kind of positions. They are just too restricting. I don't like this kind of chess. So I went for d4 here. So let's just do a break. I mean, his king is in the center. He has 2 moves left to castle. My king is safe. So why not just open the center and activate the pieces completely? He took the pawn. I took the pawn back. He took again with the e pawn, and I play a knight takes d4, of course. So this is the position which emerged. And now he has an isolated queen's pawn. My pawn are very good placed in the center. I have natural square for developing the knight. I have natural square for my bishop. For the development, the rook is also very easy developed. The queen is very active. So I believe I have a good position here. But, well, given my low self-confidence, I wasn't allowed to think that I'm good. I was just focused on my next moves. He played bishop to e7. Now, obviously, preparing for the castle. And this was my first dilemma. I was thinking, okay, I'm not still developed. I still need to develop my knight. I still need to develop my bishop. But nevertheless, I was drawn very much to this knight to f5 move. Because, as you can see, the position is, well, pretty open. He has isolated queen pawn, so these files are open. And you can see many squares in the center which are available for the bishops. So I was thinking that having the bishop pair in this position could be a nice advantage. The only dilemma I had is, you know, moving the same piece, you know, already 3 times, and 2 of my pieces are still undeveloped. So I was a little bit hesitant, but I took some time, and I decided finally to play knight to f5. Now I'm hitting the bishop, and I'm also hitting this pawn. So if he castles, I can just win the bishop pair. If he tries to save his bishop and protect his pawn, for example, bishop to f6, then I have this very nice check, knight to d6 check, you know, blocking this pawn. He has to move away the king, he cannot castle, and I think it's obvious that I will be much better here. So this is why here I played knight to f5. He castled, so he decides to give away the bishop. It's probably the best thing to do here. So I take the bishop. He took back with the queen. And this is also interesting. I was thinking that he might take with one of the knights, because if he takes with the queen, then I can develop my knight to c3, and also threatening to go with to knight d5, hitting the queen. So I think I thought in the game, and I still think that this is a mistake. By the way, I'm not using the engine for this analysis. I'm just talking what I see and what I think. So if you want to, you know, analyze this game further, and you turn on the engine, and then you will probably notice that I will be missing some stuff. Okay, so he took with the queen, and I think this was a mistake, because now he's giving me this d5 square, and this will prove to be crucial in the game. If he would took with I don't know, one of the knights. I'm not even sure which knight is better. Let's say with this knight, just to be closer to the king, and you know, to open this file. Then this square would not be available. I would still probably play knight to c3, but then knight to d5 would not be so strong. Okay, so he took with the queen, and now I played knight to c3. You know, aiming for this stuff, and then now he played rook to d8, which I don't really understand. Why did he play this? I guess he wanted to push this pawn forward. I mean, he does align the rook with my queen, but I really don't see any prospect of opening this file, especially once my knight is blocking the pawn. I really don't see the point of this move. So I played the knight to d5, and he's a little bit in trouble. You can see that this knight here is threatening to jump on c7, attacking the rook and maybe forking the queen. So if he would move queen here or here, this would just be a fork. So he has to be careful. Also, I was looking at one interesting combination. So, for example, if he would play queen to d6, I saw this move. So bishop to g5. Now I'm hitting the rook, and if he tries to save the rook, then I have this check with the discovered attack on the queen, and he cannot take the knight because the knight is covered. So this was one nice combination I saw at one moment in the game. So he cannot go here, he cannot go here, he cannot go here. What else can he do? He cannot go here, obviously. Maybe he can try to go here in complete passivity. So he doesn't have much choice. He could try this. I'm not sure how good it is. So he played queen to e5, and now his queen is far stretched, so I can maybe take advantage of this. And the queen here attacks this pawn. So as long as this queen is attacking this pawn, I cannot move my bishop here. So I play rook to b1, and I don't like these moves. I don't like when the rook has to defend the pawn. But I was thinking about alternatives, and I didn't like any alternative. So the alternative was, of course, I cannot move the pawn because he will just take. So what is the alternative here? I'm not sure. I'm not even sure that there is an alternative. I was also aware of his knight jumping to b4. Before in the position as well, something like here. This was always the possibility. For example, here he could jump, and then I would have to move my bishop probably on b3 and then kick it away. So I was aware of this b4 square, and after queen went here, I didn't want, even if this was possible, I wouldn't like to do this, because I want to have the control of the b5, and I want to have this kind of structure. This is what I was thinking. But anyway, I thought that I have to play rook b1, although I don't like it very much, but just to be able to play with my bishop. And here already I was considering f4. And this is one of the moments in the game in which I was, literally hallucinating. So I was thinking here, if I play f4, what would happen if I would play f4? So this was my thinking. I saw that he has this check here. So I was thinking that, okay, if I play f4, he can check me, now force the queen exchange, which I don't like, because I think I'm active, I have more active pieces, my pieces are more forward, I have a bishop pair, so I want to keep the queens on the board, I'm more active. So here I would have to, just give away the queen, and now this bishop will be under attack, and so on. So this was the first moment I was thinking about f4, and I decided not to play it yet, so I played rook to b1, and he played d6 here. And now again I was considering f4, but again he has this check. So I wanted to prepare f4 here, and I played bishop to e3, stopping the check. Okay, so far so good. He played the rook to b8 because he was afraid of this fork ideas. So I was saying before, if you to move a queen here or here, I have this fork, or rook here. So he cannot play anything on e6 or e8 because he has this fork coming. So I guess this is why he played this, and also he's kind of controlling this b6. I have discovered twice, but now at least he has some control over the b6 square. And now the hallucination began. So my move I wanted to play here was f4, and I was thinking for some reason that I cannot play f4, and this was my thinking. I was thinking, okay, if I play f4, he can take my pawn, I take with the bishop, now he can check and force the queen exchange. And my thinking was, I was thinking a lot. I had many time on the clock. I wasn't in any kind of time trouble. And I was thinking, yeah, but I don't like exchanging queens because, my position is better, I am more active, and I like having my queen on the board. And I completely missed the obvious fact that if he does this, he will be losing the piece. So I didn't see here that after f4, he cannot take the pawn because he'll just lose the piece. Now I was calculating, I was calculating what would happen if he goes here, takes, if here, can I maybe block, and what if I block, he can take, then maybe my rook will be more active, he has the isolated pawn, and so on. So I was thinking a lot about this position, but I just somehow missed the most obvious thing in the position is that he cannot take the pawn. So in my hallucinations, I started to prepare this move, and The preparation of f4 was, my plan was to put the queen on d2, put the rook behind, and now he cannot give a check. After I play f4 and he sacrifices the knight, and I take with the bishop, then he cannot play the check. So it's impossible to explain why I did have such a tunnel vision moment in which I just didn't see that he cannot take the pawn, because, you know, knight is worth more than a pawn. I don't know. I slept very badly. I was very excited about the game. I was very traumatized by the last tournament. This stuff just happens. So I played queen to d2 here. He played h6, stopping this idea I was talking about earlier. So this bishop to g5, and then maybe some kind of discovered check here. So I continued with my plan, rook to d1, and now I can safely play f4. I mean, I could have played this before, but yeah, I was just thinking that that I cannot. And actually, f4 here would be a very strong move. So, for example, f4 here, where can he go with his queen? There are no squares available, I think. Yeah, this will probably be winning move. So this is all taken. This cannot. If he goes here, I just fork. He cannot go here because of obvious reasons. He will just take. He has to go back all the way back to e8. Okay, I don't have a fork anymore. But still, I can make some progress here. I can make some progress here, and so forth. Okay. So what happened? I played this rook to d1, and now he played bishop to e6. So I was thinking that after, I mean, why would he play d6 here? Because he wanted to play bishop to e6, and obviously this knight was too annoying for him. So this is what happened. But now, when he played this bishop to d6, he cut away the retreat square for the queen. So now f4 doesn't trap the queen, because the queen can go to h5. Because my queen is no longer on d1, so I no longer cover this square here. So he can go to h5, but then I can just push the f5, forking and winning the piece. So this is what happened. I played finally f4 here. He went to h5. I played f5, forking. He took the knight. I took back with the pawn. This is very important, because now both of his knights are attacked with the pawn. So he has to give away one of his knights. He played knight c to e5, now trying to coordinate his knight and queen into some kind of attack, which can be very dangerous if you miss, if you are not careful in your defense. So f takes g6, f takes g6, and now I have to think about how to stop this knight and queen from coordinating. So my thinking was that I need to take away the forward squares for the knight. So the knight has these forward squares, so I need to take them away. So this is why I decided to play b3, just to take away this c4 square. The other alternative was to play h3. I was thinking about h3, but then, I mean, still he can jump in here, making some damage, attacking the queen. He has a tempo on the queen. He's also hitting the bishop. Yeah, I just didn't like this. Maybe it would be better, because at least I would cut the knight from going on the king's side. But I thought I was safe enough. So I played b3 here. He played queen to g4 with a very nice trick. So you can pause the video here and see what is the threat by the black if you want. So the threat is simple, knight to f3 with the fork, because this pawn is now pinned. I cannot take the knight, and he's just forking king and the queen. So I need to stop this threat. So I was thinking a while how to stop it. My idea was to go rook to f1, to stop this. But then I was afraid that he would play a rook to f8. And for example, if I would take, and now if I would do the same, then this could again work. Because if I take with the rook, he can take the rook, and I cannot take back, because this is pinned. So I was thinking, let's go back. So here I was thinking about this move, and I dismissed it because of the variation I just shown you. So I decided just to step away with the king h1, and now he cannot do this because I will just take it. He played rook to f8, so he's playing very well now. I mean, he's doing all he can. So he has the knight is on the outpost. I cannot dislodge this knight so easily. He has the queen and the knight in the combination can be a very deadly weapon, and now he's bringing more pieces in the attack. So he's playing correctly. I'm playing rook to f1 here, trying to counter this threat. And now he played queen to h5, preparing a knight to g4 with the checkmate threat. So I had to be careful here. And I decided to play, I think, very good move with bishop to d3. If he takes, we just exchange pieces. This bishop also supports this rook. If he jumps here, I can just very easily play the h3, and I don't lose anything. I cannot take because the pawn will be pinned, but it's still a defensive resource. So he did play a knight to g4. I played h3, and now he played a rook b to e8, hitting my bishop twice. And here I was thinking about several options. I was thinking about taking the rook first. This was one candidate move. And another candidate move was the obvious bishop to e2, pinning the knight and winning the knight. So let's explore the first possibility, which I didn't play. So this was the possibility, to take with the check. He has to take, and now if I play this bishop to e3, I can run into some troubles. Not sure now what did I see here as a trouble. Oh, this knight to f2 check. Then I take the knight, and he comes with the rook. So he's now penetrating with the rook, pinning my bishop. I can still exchange queens here. I saw all this. And now I saw this position, and I saw that this pawn is king. Because I have now to save my bishop. So I have to save my bishop, and then he can take my pawn. And now, his king is, I mean, I'm still better, but his rook is on the second rank. My king is kind of cut off, although I do have the escape square. But I didn't like this idea very much. So this is why in this position I have decided not to take the rook, but to go with bishop to e2. And now he took the bishop, thinking that, this basically just exchanges pieces. So here I just inserted the check, so I took the rook, the exchange favors me, he took with the king, and this was the position in which my fear was completely dominating me. So if this was a blitz game, if this was any normal game, lone wolf game, online game, any other tournament, I would immediately, without any thinking, play bishop to g4. This is the best move. Taking the knight, I'm still a piece up with the tempo on the queen. I have this coming, I have this coming, I have this coming. So I don't even have to play for the endgame, exchanging queens and exchanging rooks and then go to the endgame. I can just play for the checkmate here. I mean, if I play here, he has to save his queen and at the same time save his rook, so he would have to go somewhere like this. Okay, and then I can insert check. If he goes here, I check here. I mean, wherever he goes, I can go here, and now this is coming. And this is coming. And this is coming. So everything is coming. And he doesn't have any resources. And I saw all this. So in this position, let's go back. So in this position, I saw all this. But since I was so low in confidence, I was thinking, maybe there is something I don't see. He has a rook, he has a queen, and he's relatively in the vicinity of my king. So there might be something I don't see, some perpetual check or even some mate. So this is what happens when your confidence is really low. So I was thinking about alternatives. What other thing can I do? And the alternative was to take the rook and go, exchange. He takes back, I take the queen, he takes the bishop, and now we are in the endgame with the rook against the knight. And this ensures the exchange of the queens. And if we exchange queens, I cannot get checkmated, and I cannot get perpetual check. But I will be, just an exchange up instead of being the whole piece up. And I decided to go for this variation because of my fear. So I didn't play the move which I thought was the best move, but I played a move which I thought also is winning, but it's not so strong. because I was afraid. And I hope that I will regain my confidence and in the future be brave enough to play the obvious moves like this. So I played queen takes e3, and my opponent resigned at this moment, and I relieved. Okay, I won the game. So how could have continued? What was I thinking before I was playing this? I was thinking that he will take the queen. I will take the queen. He will take the bishop, and I would probably play rook to e1 here. And now when he takes the pawn, I can come here, and now all these pawns will fall. He can try to attack my pawns here, but the rook is just weaker and just more efficient. So this was one way to play, or another way would just be to play rook to c1, again with the same idea, go here and then take this. This is maybe rook to c1 is maybe even better, because after he takes, if he tries to attack my pawns, I can just take and defend the pawn. And still this is hanging, and still this is hanging, and so forth. So I was thinking here in this position, which was this one, I was thinking that after all the exchanges, it's not just that I'm exchange up, but I can win at least one pawn, probably 2 pawns. So I will be, one pawn up, probably with the rook against the knight. I cannot get checkmated, I cannot get perpetually checked. So this is why I went for the suboptimal move here. But anyway, I won the game, and I hope this will give me some of my confidence back. And this will be a long league. This year there will be 10 rounds in the International League. I don't know how many rounds will I play. I suppose I'll play most of them. So I guess I will have many more games to come. Okay, thank you very much for watching. This is it for the video. If you liked it, click the like button, subscribe to my channel, leave the comment below. It means a lot. And I will see you soon with more instructive chess videos. Cheers.